full trio. You got grief one. Nice! Nice! I'm a Slurfish. 14 builds.
Went up. Nice! He has to go through a building.
1 builds. 4 builds.
He has to go through a building.
Nice. Got your finish. No more builds.
He's coming up.
Now I know what you're thinking. What does this moment have to do with the title of the video of Dropspot? Well, in order to answer that question, we're going to have to rewind a couple of weeks. This is where we're going to introduce our 2 main teams for the topic today. A team known as BBC, okay, Bugha, Bizzle, and Clix, who are going against Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite in Sweaty Sands. Now before the season's FNCS started in previous seasons, both of these teams have been going to this Dropspot for a long time. Coming into the first qualifier for FNCS, they both make it to the final round. And for anyone unaware, if you get top 3 out of the 33 teams here, you'll go straight to finals and miss the semi-finals. So this is really important for teams to get top 3 in any of these 3 weekly qualifiers. After the 6 games when the leaderboards were set, Bugha, Clix, and Bizzle ended in 29th, losing off spawn in Sweaty Sands to Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite 5 out of the 6 games. Now because this fight drags on a lot of the time, Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite only end up placing 15th and definitely were nowhere near getting the top 3. In qualifier 1, it remained relatively civil, with Bugha tweeting GG's go next. So qualifier 2 rolls around, it looks like Bugha, Clix, and Bizzle are off to a hot start, as he managed to get off of spawn and get into an endgame, which didn't really happen in qualifier 1. However, what actually happened is that Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite didn't load into this game, and for the future games that they loaded into, they won off spawn. And because these fights dragged out, and honestly too, Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite weren't playing to their fullest potential on this day either, and let's be real, neither were Bugha, Clix, and Bizzle. They ended up in 17th, with Bugha, Clix, and Bizzle in 25th. Qualifier 3, both teams shockingly don't actually even make it to round 4, so they don't even have a chance to compete to get straight through to the finals. Now over the 3 qualifiers, both teams have just focused on fighting each other and trying to get the other team to leave. To add a personal opinion to this, if you are consistently losing off spawn 5 out of 6 games in every qualifier, you should probably leave the drop spot. But instead, Clix, Bugha, and Bizzle had big egos about it and just wanted to put their mark on this and were willing to throw an entire season of FNCS just to grief Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite. From Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite's POV, they were winning off spawn a significant amount of the time, and their social media following has grown significantly because of this, so they had absolutely no reason to leave. We almost saw a very similar fight going on in EU for Pleasant Park between Benji Fishy, Matzo and Amplify, and Floki, Clement, and Deceptos. However, in qualifier 2, Floki, Clement, and Deceptos showed that they have absolutely no ego, and instead decided to move over to Slurpy Swamp. Ironically, they managed to get top 3 and qualify straight through to finals, where Benji's team, with the uncontested drop spot, managed to flump and actually didn't even end up making the reboot round. For me as a Benji fan, this was definitely tough to see. However, it's definitely the motivation him, Matzo, and Amplify need to improve next season. Whether they do this individually with new teams, or if they still stick together, which I don't think they are based on the tweets. But just because they didn't get a top 3 doesn't mean they're out. That means that Clix, Bizzle, and Bugha move on to the semi-finals along with Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite. And the coincidence of all coincidences, they actually are put in the same heat, which means that for these 6 games, what they need to do is come top 6 and then we'll go straight through to the finals. And if they don't come top 6 and they come 7th till 17th, they get 1 opportunity left in the reboot round. For anyone unaware, the reboot round is a final chance for teams to make it through to the grand finals. And it's 3 single matches, and all you have to do is pick up the victory royale in one of these matches to make yourself through to the finals. So in the semi-finals, top 6, you go to finals, 7th till 17th, reboot round, for that final chance. The first 4 games all go Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite's way, but yet again, their games just didn't play out that well after this, despite them having huge potential. Despite being second from the bottom in the leaderboard at this moment, rather than going for that top 17 that they need to qualify for the reboot round, Clix, Bizzle, and Bugha decide to intentionally grief Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite in Sweaty Sands as long as they possibly can. What they're trying to do is to keep Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite fighting as long as possible, not necessarily trying to win the fight themselves, just trying to make the fight last as long as possible to ensure that Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite can't rotate out and have a much less chance of making it through to the reboot round themselves. They failed at this because the elimination points that Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite got by eliminating Clix, Bizzle, and Bugha were enough to put them into the reboot round, qualifying in 17th. Whereas Clix, Bizzle, and Bugha almost couldn't be further down the leaderboard, and don't qualify for the reboot round or the finals, essentially throwing their entire season of FNCS. So, the first game of the reboot round starts. Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite land in sweaty sands, uncontested. They weren't really in the mix for the majority of the game, because there was a multitude of teams going over and over on height, and this is the predominant focus of the reboot rounds of who was on height and who was going to win the game and fill out those final slots in the grand finals. All that mattered was the victory royale in this match. And hey, remember that 1v3 clip from the start?
I'm dead on low ground. Oh, here's Sprite. Team on low ground. Nice. Slurfish and flopper behind you. 40 seconds until zone.
What? 3 slurfish. Pop. Nice. 300 mats. 200 mats. You're full trio. You got a green one. Nice.
You have Slurfish.
7 bills. Pop slurp.
7 builds. Top 2. 1v2. 1v2. You have 1 Slurfish.
Pop a slurfish. 14 bills.
Coming up. Nice. He has to go through a building.
1 builds. 4 builds.
He has to go through a building.
Nice. Got your finish? No more builds.
He's coming up.
That 1v3 qualified them for the finals. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.